And hello, Alien fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment. With me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for yesterday's episode of Alien Earth Season 1, Episode 7. And I'm just gonna straight up say it. If you have not seen this episode, spoilers ahead because wow. I didn't see it yesterday. I just saw it a couple hours ago, and I wanted to watch it twice because I wanted to, get the things in my head a little bit more. Holy bananas, this episode was great. I really liked this episode a lot. So, okay, first of all, I gotta say this. The freaking goat still creeps me out with the freaking eye, with that whole octopus looking eye thing that popped its eye out, and it's like controlling the sheep. The freaking billionaire guy, I hate that guy, by the way. That guy needs to be eaten by the xenomorph, period. The guy creeps me out. He's even worse than the doctor dude. The one who's like, who kind of helped create, not create, sorry, he's the one who's running the zoo, apparently. And he's, observing these creatures, like the fly monster thing. They literally discovered the guy who got killed by the fly monster with, who had his face, like, melted off from last week's episode. So they discovered, they were like, listen, we're not going to tell the kids, keep them locked up, but, Wendy, her brother, and the girl, the one who carries, I think, the doll around, yeah, they all left and decided to, like, listen, let's get the heck out of here. We need to bounce. So Wendy went to go tell them, listen, we need to get out of here. Things are happening. One of the xenomorphs is ready to cut loose. And she literally, Wendy was, like, being threatened to be like, oh, yeah, there's guards that, take her back to her room and punish her, apparently. So she literally did the whistle, and the freaking xenomorph was, like, ready to charge, like, on her command, which was awesome to see. The fact that she could control a xenomorph, which is, like, awesome. Remember, the xenomorph started off as the baby, then it grew a little bit, then it became a full-grown xenomorph now, so that was cool. We also got to see the one synthoid who's been working with the guy from the ship. He got one of the bodies, and he was literally gonna get ready to take it out. He had to hide it under his bed. But then his friend shows up and is like, what's that under your bed? Because the hand was sticking out. So, poor judgment of hiding somebody. So, ain't working properly. So, he ends up teaming up with his friend, and the two of them take the body to the beach so they can get out of there with the face hugger living on the guy's poor face. And unfortunately, the hugger fell off, and you know what that means. When the hugger falls off the face of somebody, it's already got an alien inside his chest and get ready to pop out. And it did. And we go from there. Then they're running. The guy the guy from the ship who crash landed, he shows up with a couple of guys with him. Which, by the way, my only negative about this episode was the fact that he brought like 4 or 5 guys with him. And I'll get back to why that's a negative in a minute. He shows up with his boys, and they're like, yeah, you failed. You're acting like a little child. You couldn't just tell me straight up, listen, I failed. I couldn't get this body to you in time with the creature attached to it. I'm sorry. So they're like, let's go see if we could do something else over there. They go back to the lab, and then the doctor shows up with a freaking army just surrounding him and his boys, and they all get caught. So that's why you don't bring 5 guys to a freaking like military base in a way. Like literally, he had the doctor dude had like the whole place surrounded, and the guy that he was like kind of threatened, like, oh yeah, you're gonna do what I say or I'll kill your mom, kind of a person. He was like you can clearly tell from his face, like a sigh of relief, because he had the whole guys show up with the whole guys with guns show up to take out these dudes with 4 of them. So he went back to his team, got punished, and went to his room. So I thought that stuff was great. Then we see Wendy get captured as well by other soldiers that show up out of nowhere, which a little too late, don't you think? That they show up, and then they start wrecking shop. When she starts calling the xenomorph, and the xenomorph starts wrecking shop, and then her brother, and the other girl, they go on near the, I guess, a dock, so they can go to the boat to get off the island, and they start fighting. And you see Wendy throwing people, and her friend like superhuman strength, throwing people off and killing them. And then her brother shoots Wendy's friend. I'm not 100% sure if it was intentional or it was an accidental thing, but he shoots her electricity style, so she goes down, kind of like he tased her in a way. So she goes down, and then they get captured all over again. Then she calls the Xenomorph, but the Xenomorph's hiding in the bushes. So I'm pretty sure by next week's episode, the Xenomorph is gonna cut loose again. So there's time for that. So who knows? But great episode. The sheep still freaks me out. The billionaire guy thinks he can try to communicate it or try to transfer the creature that's attached to the sheep to somebody else who can actually communicate with him in English, so that way he understands why these creatures are like this and what do they want and all that stuff, and study it even more. So overall, great episode, minus the fact that the big tough guy from the spaceship who was killing all his crew members comes in with 4 guys just to try to collect a sample, when we know that the company that he's working for, they want those creatures back. You figure he sent an army to go into that island to try to take it over. Nope, he shows up with 4 guys and that's it. That's basically saying, okay, there's $1 billion in an island. There's 150 soldiers ready to defend it, and you bring your best friend and 2 nerds who have never shot a weapon in their life. Odds are you're either going to die or you're going to get captured. So, kind of stupid in his part. So, there's that, But, what can you do? Hopefully next week's episode explains what the heck happens next. Or see if he can escape, or he gets backup showing up and they just got there too late. We have to wait and see. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about Alien Earth. Are you guys still enjoying this show? Not enjoying this show? Are you guys caught up at all? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much. And have a good night.